at the end, and I put his chair right in the middle there so you can get more of your shot.
Chris,
Okay, when
you still
surfers
get it
do.
with that light
Okay?
post?
That's okay. Yeah, oh god.
Oh, so she's coming to my camera right now?
Who's that?
When is special though? Alright, I gotta go see then the moves. Alright, let me go. Alright, bye. Hey, guys.
Alright, well, I'll just stay tuned
What
then.
we doing, Brian?
We got specials at the same time. We gotta be ready.
I'll be here.
One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'll pay the freight for that, or just hang out.
Hey, Jake.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, the baby.
Oh, Sean.
Oh, good for you.
Give me light blue.
I think it was called the Unity Cafe.
Are you good?
I had to go to this, I said,
That's
I knew
awesome.
him well, so it was,
You're doing great.
I got up there, there's,
Tom, are you okay?
yeah.
For what?
Well, I think they were just praised then, and he was like, I'm not supposed to, I think we just.
All right, let me find it.
So did you buy this
So,
for everybody?
that was probably.
Yeah, on my credit card.
You're right. So we're just live here, yes? Uh-huh.
Yeah, you could do that. I can look for it real quick.
I had a look, I just been had a look.
I set up, I was,
Maybe, I was, I think I was.
basically, who's the guy at, Gilberto, or not, Boston, Gilberto, Gil. Yeah, so I was relieving him, and right as I was starting to set up. Hello again, how are you? And they moved our down Johnson. I'm like, you should brownies. Waited. Wow, that's not drama. We're
Good
sitting
cookies over there.
Hello, nice audio, Brian Icon, Washington, how are you?
literally.
I'll be right back, Tom.
Election.
Tom Bad, Casey Hunt.
No, this
It's not in any of those other bags.
How long are we talking, like, till special? Yeah. When?
I was like, not having a lot of from not
All right,
having lunch.
all right, just, yeah, give me a heads up, thanks, guys.
All that men's.
Very fun.
Exactly.
I was in Florida. Hey, it's John Bullard. I found a little bit of orientation for cutaway audio from Brian's camera. Do you want me to dial it? Do you want me to dial into the control room and turn that on? Okay, so I'm not gonna call you, I'm just gonna do my thing.
Phone, click, you're on.
Hey.
Yeah, and Democrats do expect that number to grow, even if Governor Moore may not have delivered the command performance that some Democrats may have wanted. They still ultimately, that their objective was fulfilled. I talked to a number of Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee and the House Intelligence Committee, particularly ones who support calls for impeachment inquiry. They do expect that essentially their case has been bolstered. They believe more support will grow from this regard. And I talked to one member who had not publicly announced support for impeachment inquiry, that's Sean Maloney, and he said that it is time to move forward. So expect more of that. A number of Democrats said that their leadership and others perhaps may be swayed by growing public support in the aftermath of this hearing.
How are you?
Having fun today?
There was a great line. Pelosi had her little thing. They said, Congressman Van Littler here, but he's out like saving democracy. It was a great line.
And and Jake, in just a matter of moments, we will hear from the person who will ultimately make that decision, Speaker Nancy Pelosi. You expect to address reporters, of course, that's going to be a key question. She has resisted the calls for moving forward on impeachment proceedings, saying the current court investigations being split up by 6 committees is the right way to go. Concerned the Republican-led Senate would ultimately kill any impeachment effort, but we do know that the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler, has privately supported an impeachment inquiry. We'll see if his tune has changed, and Adam Schiff, too, has resisted calls for opening an impeachment inquiry. He also will join the speaker. We'll hear what they have to say. Just a matter of moments. Jim.
Brilliant, thank you. No, wait, don't say that. If you're taking
Okay,
yeah, probably not.
Trump's talking right now.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, so if you want, they're gonna say right back on that presser, I can share. Or give you the whole presser.
There's no.
Right now, so.
Just doing this for- huh?
Because if he hangs out there for another 10 minutes, I'll take one, come back.
Just do me a favor, dial.
He's still out there? How long has he been out there?
You're right.
Just started about 10 minutes ago.
Sometimes they like.
She's gonna have to watch your caliber.
I can actually tell you running.
Oh, no, you.
Oh, yeah, I did, I'm behind him, I'm good, I'm moving.
There you go.
No, stay.
Sorry, after these.
All right, I'm gonna come back.
Yeah, that's, so she's gonna do specials if Trump talks.
Need, if we during, so just keep this handy in case you need it after.
Yeah, exactly, that's all.
So wait, so that's, we're gonna do.
It'll be right on her seat.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
Perfect, thank you.
Say hi to the kids.
I have my phone set up, but not.
Here's what's gonna
I'm
happen.
in the mall.
We got time, this is not gonna start early.
Like 5:15.
We're gonna have both Nancy and Ed
So
here.
what do you think?
We should do council Nancy questions, because this will maybe be in repeats tonight and or tomorrow morning. But Ed is gonna do a live shot right now. So.
They're not fast, so, I mean, you're a young man, you can handle this. Well, yeah.
Nancy has to be here now because we got in this position. And he's gonna probably be.
That's fine.
You're a young man.
Somewhere where I can
You're a
just in
pirate.
front of the room, stand up for a live shot when this is done.
So he's gonna be.
Okay, Ed, you're sitting there.
Next to her?
Is he right next to her?
Is that
Antonio?
weird?
Where do you have,
Or
no,
can
you have
sit
Nancy
somewhere
here,
else.
right?
Nancy is
Nancy's here.
here.
You sure?
Yeah, because I mean,
Two of us?
well, either way, they're gonna see you because the camera is right here.
That's fine. Why don't I stay out of that row?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Why don't we leave him over here and then he'll just walk up when it
Okay.
starts.
You need me to be wired?
Yes, I
Are we
have
doing
to
this
do
by
it.
cell phone or are we doing it?
I can do it by cell phone, yes.
I'll usually. Okay, good, that's why I'm carrying it.
I just give you the cord.
I have my cord.
You have everything?
I have everything.
Okay,
Just give
good.
me the phone number.
Okay, I will. It's,
I'll stay out of that row.
the phone number then is the one that he gave me.
Which, no, I'm gonna be getting it.
Ah,
They
okay.
said they'll text it to me.
The
Yeah,
IFP.
it used to be here.
Is there a number for
Yeah, it
you
used
to
to be
call
here
again?
and transferred to.
Yes. I will send that to you soon.
Policy C,
Thank God you guys showed up, because I was by myself going.
probably northbound one.
No worries.
No, I
So
went
yeah,
ahead
it's a,
and ran.
well, it's also a little more complicated than usual. But so you're cool, yeah. So you'll just normal head on and then
We'll
stand
head
up.
on and then we'll have.
Do you want to go to first step on the T there? So, Mr. O'Keefe, you'll head for the T right there.
On the steps?
On the step. Like asking questions.
Wait, no, I need to give my fingers a rest.
I was gonna go upstairs and get
This is gonna leave it there. Frank's finding out right now.
You know what happened?
Oh, Frank's here, where is it?
So let me make sure that
Okay, well,
Hey, Ed, can you do 5 PM and have it present?
Hey, what's gonna happen?
Ed says if. Can you do edit 5 and have it presser? It's 4:30, you got plenty of time. Yes.
He's gonna do out of it.
I've got a wireless already set up.
For him, okay.
If you wanna do that, make your life a little
Yeah,
easier.
so that's just,
Let's set up.
and then we'll do the wireless for Nancy. Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. Yes, I do, thank you.
Which is not supposed to come out until like 7:30. Yeah, me and ours. Welcome. So I'll do food. But those two, Nina goes to her every day. I think most people.
This is the number, 8856.
It's really.
Today is Wednesday, July 24th. We are in Studio A. It's 4:30, waiting for Nancy Pelosi and other people. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check. Everybody good? I can keep talking for you, just in case.
No specials.
We're good?
They just killed it.
Okay, you want me to call them or you call them?
She's
call
in the
them?
4 o'clock though, so.
4 o'clock, it's 4:30.
Well, she's in the 4 o'clock. Actually, let me call.
5:15 started this thing.
Well, she actually doesn't need that.
Well, you better have some good questions prepared.
Hey.
Huh?
Rebecca,
Okay, great. Do you want me to speak to you to check the audio? Okay. Hi, this is Padma. I'm in Studio A. I'm just calling to check the audio for, this is the Pelosi Nadler shift presser.
So we had a very good day today, the Republican Party, our country. There was no defense of what Robert Mueller was trying to defend, in all fairness to Robert Mueller. Whether his performance was a bad one or a good one, I think everybody understands that. I think everybody understands what's going on. There was no defense to this ridiculous hoax, this witch hunt that's been going on for a long time, pretty much from the time I came down on the escalator with our First Lady. And it's a disgrace what happened, but I think today proved a lot to everybody. In fact, some of my biggest opponents wrote things today that I wouldn't have believed they would have written, and I appreciate that they did that. This has been a very bad thing for our country, and despite everything we've been through, it's been an incredible 2.5 years for our country. The administration, our president, me, we've done a great job. We've got the strongest stock market, the best unemployment numbers, the most number of people ever working in the history of our country right now, almost 160 million. Our military has been rebuilt and getting even stronger. We've done a great job, and we've done it under this terrible phony cloud, a phony cloud, that's all it was. And they should be ashamed of themselves, absolutely ashamed. And you know who knew it was a phony cloud more than anyone else? It was Schiff and Nadler and Schumer and Pelosi, every one of them. They all knew it was phony stuff. And you look at the polls are showing it maybe more than anybody else or anything else. And I've had my best polls, and I don't say why, but people see what's gone on in our country with this whole thing. I've been going through it for 3 years. For 3 years, all nonsense. So this was a very big day for our country. This was a very big day for the Republican Party. And you could say it was a great day for me, but I don't even like to say that. It's great. I'll tell you what, I very much appreciate those incredible warriors that you watched today on television, Republicans, that defended something and defended something very powerful, very important, because they were really defending our country. More than anything else, they were defending our country. But they were warriors, and they've been warriors for a long time. And everybody knew it was a hoax, especially the Democrats. I wish we could be a fly in the wall in those rooms where the Democrats would go in and talk before and after meetings, and they'd be laughing and smiling and say, can you believe that we're getting away with this? But in the end, they didn't get away with it. Yeah. So there is no such a thing. He didn't have the right to exonerate. And, you know, it's very interesting. People mention exoneration. That was something where he totally folded because he never had the right to exonerate. And it was covered very well by Congressman Turner and put to a conclusion. We were, if you take a look at not only the report, beyond the report, take a look at not what he said, but what he was forced to say. And even your networks and your network and your network and every one of these networks, they put up their hands. You know, we had a couple of cases actually we had about 6 cases where they asked our people, our representatives, television networks, please don't come in tonight. We're not going to be doing much on it. And the reason they're not, because it's over. Go ahead.
Are you concerned you could be indicted out of office? And you and Brett talked so much about WikiLeaks, even Robert Mueller called that problematic.
So WikiLeaks is a hoax just like everything else. And all of those problems having to do with crime were the biggest hoax of all. It was a witch hunt, a total witch hunt. And when you saw Robert Mueller's statement, the earlier statement, and then he did a recap, he did a correction later on in the afternoon. And you know what that correction was? And you still ask the question. You know why? Because you're fake news. And you're one of the most. And let me just tell you, the fact that you even asked that question, you're fake news. Because you know what? He totally corrected himself in the afternoon, and you know that just as well as anybody. Caitlin. I don't know whose answers weren't. I guess his answers weren't, because if you look, the whole report, you take a look at what they did. Some of the things that he didn't even know about. Some of the things he didn't even know what was going on. But you know, in the end, what he did, he actually probably came through for himself. The performance was obviously not very good. He had a lot of problems, but what he showed more than anything else is that this whole thing has been 3 years of embarrassment and waste of time for our country. And you know what? The Democrats thought they could win an election like this. I think they hurt themselves very badly for 2020. Did I what? I don't know. I really don't know. I never had. Don't know. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, frankly, whether or not he did, it wouldn't matter to me, because he did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong because it's so unimportant. It was always a very unimportant meeting. It was only important to the fake news. Go ahead. No, he didn't say that. Again, you're fake news, and you're right at the top of the list also. Let me just tell you, go back to what, it's not what he said. Read his correction. Read his correction. If you read his correction, you'll find out. That's why people don't deal with you, because you're not an honest reporter. John? John, they are devastated. The Democrats lost so big today. Their party is in shambles right now. They've got the squad leading their party. They are a mess, where even you take a look at Scribe and you take a look at so many of the people that were the most outspoken, and they say this was a devastating day for the Democrats. And you know it, John, and everybody else knows it. This was a devastating day for the Democrats. No, a very dumb and very unfair question. Because if you look at his correction, he took that totally out of play. He made his decision based on the facts, not based on some rule. So you shouldn't even ask that question, because you know it's a phony. Go ahead. The Democrats had nothing, and now they have less than nothing. And I think they're going to lose the 2020 election very big, including congressional seats, because of the path that they chose. Now, who knows where it goes? From what I hear, they're giving up. But I just say, I know them too well. They'll never give up. They'll go back into the room and they'll try and figure something out. This whole thing has been, honestly, it's been collusion. It's been collusion with the media. It's been collusion with other countries. This has been a disaster for the Democrats, and I think we're going to win bigger than ever. Now, I'm going to West Virginia, one of the great states, a state that's doing, if you look at percentage up, I think it's #1 or #2 in the country, and nobody would have believed that. West Virginia is doing great. So I'm going to West Virginia. We did have a big case today. You know, we won the asylum case in Washington, which frankly, you should be asking about that, because that's the real deal. I can't believe how nice you are today. Go ahead, give me a question. No, because we did nothing wrong. The answer is very simple. Nothing was done wrong. This was all a big hoax. And if you look at it today, nothing was done wrong. Now, I believe what you're going to find a lot of things that were done very wrong, but that's going on now. That's something you haven't been writing about, and that has to do with the other side. That has to do with a thing called investigate the investigators. Let's see what happens. That's going to be very interesting.
Mueller did a good job, but where are you at on that?
Look, I think Robert Mueller did a horrible job, both today and with respect to the investigation. But in all fairness to Robert Mueller, he had nothing to work with. You know, you can be a builder, but if they don't give you the right materials, you're not going to build a very good building. Robert Mueller had no material. He had nothing to work with. So obviously he did very poorly today. I don't think there's anybody, even among the fakers, I don't think there's anybody that would say he did well. I looked at your people. They're saying it was devastating for the Democrats. And even, I will tell you, the two most nauseous and nauseating networks whose ratings have both gone down, way down, even they said this was a really bad day for the Democrats. So Robert Mueller did a poor job, but in all fairness to him, he had nothing to work with, David.
Do you regret not talking to Mueller now that you've seen him in action?
Look,